Hi, and welcome to another video, probably the last one in a while, and I'm going to explain why. Happy New Year, first off. I really hope you had great holidays, if you had any holidays, and that, I don't know, everything is fine in your life. I wish you all the best for next year. Now, why am I doing this video? Because I intend to not post anymore. So yeah, not clickbait at all, the title. I don't know if I will stop. Probably not. My book is coming out soonish. Over the holidays, I did reread it a few times, so I might have that video, but I digress. I don't want to post on social media anymore. And that is for several reasons. Actually, it's really one reason, but for me it's a reason that is enough. I don't get engagement anymore. So I understand that what I do is not what you're supposed to do as a social media content creator, whatever. I'm an artist and I work in a great variety of media. I do oil paints that you can see behind me, but I also work in watercolors, which you can see there, and also I do a lot of sculptures, as you can see here, which I need to send to a gallery. And while I'm doing mostly all right in my art career, I have group shows and solo shows that I'm looking forward to work on. I'm sure with the economy right now, selling art is a bit more complicated, and I fully intend to do more classes on Skillshare to kind of bring up my financial stability, to bring it up through the Skillshare classes and maybe classes on my website. I don't know, I will have to see that and figure it out. But yeah, I've been creating content now for years, a decade maybe. And at first it was a great tool. You know, you would post about your work and you would sort of follow the rules of social media, creating certain types of content or videos or whatnot. And then people would see it. And the more you would grow, the more people would follow you, and the more people would follow you, the more engagement you would have. So it all made kind of sense. Now, social media in general has changed a lot over the years, and we've had to adapt a lot, change the type of content we make, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to bore you down with details because honestly, I just don't know what to post anymore. So I understand that what I do is just exactly what you're not supposed to do, in the sense that when you're on social media, you kind of want to do always the same stuff because people will subscribe to one specific type of content, and then the moment you do something like vaguely different, then they will not watch it, and then the algorithm thinks it's shit, and then nothing gets shown, and you're like, I'm going to say shadow banned, but you're like punished for doing something more original than what you've done before. Not more original, but new. You get punished for doing something different, which I think is inherently a huge problem for artists, because while you might want to work on one specific thing for maybe 10 years, maybe 5, at some point you're going to change and want to do something else, and then you lose everything. Yeah, and so this is kind of where I'm at. So I've built up my social media first through miniature food. I made a big change and then decided to go on to sculptures that were more artistic. It went relatively well, and then now I'm painting a lot, and I'm painting as much as I said again, watercolors, and now more recently oils. Now I think my work is still very consistent as a whole. The theme hasn't really changed. It's still, you can kind of see my style in all kinds of media. However, for algorithm and social media, it's not working. I think that's the issue. I'm not sure, maybe I'm doing something else that is wrong. I don't want to focus too much on what I am doing wrong, simply because I think that the real issue is the algorithm and how things have been coded, more than the humans who are trying to share whatever content they want to share. So I don't want to say like, this is my fault, because I think the system is at fault, if that makes sense. So, because the system is at fault, and I just get very discouraged creating content that just doesn't get much engagement, and I'm kind of sorry. I know there's a bunch of you who watch my content regularly and to enjoy it. And I'm not going to disappear. You can subscribe to my newsletter, for instance, to get news of what I'm up to. So there's always that option. I know most of you won't do that because they don't want to have too many newsletters, which is fine. No issues at all. I've also decided to try and see if I should try Substack. I want to blog more. But yeah, again, I digress. The core issue is you're supposed to do the same stuff and you're supposed to follow those rules that change all the time to make content that goes viral, so people that don't follow you can see it, and if that works, then the algorithm is going to decide to show it to your followers. So that's how things have evolved. So that's one thing. And then of course AI, which is like, so far we've been in a sort of competition with other humans, which totally fair. A lot of artists are on social media and want to make a living out of it, and I totally get that. I'm one of them, and I have no issues whatsoever with other artists being so much better than I will ever be at doing content creation. That is fine. But if suddenly you have to compete with AI slop, then yeah, it's like, what's the point? Why bother? You have like no chance whatsoever of getting seen. Yeah, and so I'm just really discouraged by that. And it's really pushed me down into a sort of pretty heavy depression, which I just cannot get out of since the last maybe 4 months. Basically, when I realized how bad engagement was when I was promoting my book. Because it's just objectively and rationally a very shitty situation. And since you're already struggling, all of us, to sell artworks, not all of us, some artists are doing fine or better than others, but most artists sell less these days. And then on top of that, we don't even get engagement on our work. And art is slow, art is not supposed to be fast and entertaining and whatnot. I want people to take their time to look at my art, but this is just not what social media is about anymore. Yeah, I'm just tired of it. And I know I'm not the only one. I've decided for now to stop creating content. So what I want to do is to focus more on actual things, which is going to be my blog, my newsletter, and then real life work with galleries and maybe art magazines, and then art residencies, bring back the art in the real world. Because social media has failed us. Because I know it's not just me. Again, it's like, I know I talk about my feelings, but I've seen it with many artists I follow. Engagement has dropped dramatically. Making videos is actually quite time consuming. I know I'm just ranting in this video. And also something you're not supposed to do so much, complain. Because you always sound ungrateful. But I also think I kind of need to address it because I don't have it in me right now to create more content. And the other thing is, I am so tired to record every artwork I do. Over the years, I've gotten into the habit of recording every single artwork so I could make YouTube videos and I could create content. It's not great. Because sometimes it's late at night and the light wasn't right, and so I would just postpone working on things and thinking, okay, we'll do that tomorrow. It was raining and the light was bad, and I was like, okay, let's do that tomorrow. Or I didn't have the energy to bring out all the gear to film things, and then I would also postpone it. So recording everything all the time is quite a lot of extra work. And again, I was happy to do that when I had some kind of engagement, when it did make sense as much in terms of marketing, but also in terms of finances. Because again, I don't have that much time and I'm not super rich. So it's not like I cannot just use my time. However, I have to kind of be mindful of how I use my time, because at the end of the month, I have bills to pay. So if I don't bring in some money, then it's a bit complicated. For all these reasons, I want to at least for a few months, maybe the whole year. Just stop all this nonsense. I will record some of my work, but for classes, and that's going to be different. But I'm just going to stop creating content. If you watched until now, leave a heart emoji. So at least I'm going to have an outpour of love in the comments. That would be nice. And it does help with the engagement. And so at least my video is going to reach some of you, hopefully, because I don't show anything interesting today. I'm just being negative and complaining, which I really apologize. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. If you want to keep up with my work, there's my newsletter. I don't send out newsletters all that much. Maybe one newsletter every month or 2 months. That's kind of it. So it's not a lot. So if you want to subscribe, feel free to do so, because that's still the best way to keep up with my work. And again, I'm probably going to still post on Instagram, but even if you follow me there, you're not going to see my posts, so I don't know what to tell you. Thank you so much for watching. I would like to stay to you until the next time, but I'm not sure there's going to be much of a next time. So have a nice life. And I wish you all the best. Oh yeah, Skillshare. You can follow me there. I'm going to post on Skillshare for sure. It's not going to be as personal, but it's going to be about learning. So if you're into that, then that might be an option. Again, thank you so much for all of your support over the last decade or so that I've been on YouTube. I know some of you have been watching me since the very beginning, and I've changed a lot, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, I don't know how do you finish this? Thank you, and bye.